Good morning. Welcome to the May 14, 2019 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We're really glad you're with us this morning. We're going to begin as we always do with an invocation, and I'm going to deliver the prayer myself, so please stand. Dear Lord, please watch over the proceedings of Henderson County Fiscal Court and our community. We ask your blessings on our deliberations here and your providence and mercy on Henderson County and its people. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Magistrate Southern.
Here.
Magistrate Moran.
Here.
Magistrate Putman.
Here.
Magistrate McCollum. Here. Magistrate Berry.
Here.
And it's a pleasure to be back in Fiscal Court. Thanks for pitch hitting for me last meeting. Magistrate Putman, good job. Well, appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, you have before you the minutes of the April 23rd, 2019 meeting of Fiscal Court, and after a period of review, I will entertain a motion to approve those.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further additions, corrections, or clarifications? All those in favor of approving those minutes signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. It is, I think, the final Judges Scholar presentation of this school year, and I know for some folks, when's the last day of school, Ms. Estabrook? Thursday? You know, people are counting down the hours and the minutes, but we do get a chance to once again honor a Judges Scholar, and today we have Ms. Cameron Davis from Spotsville Elementary School, and I'd like her to join me right up here in front of the podium. Cameron, we're going to read a special proclamation in your honor.
Whereas Cameron Davis has been chosen by Spotsville Elementary School to be the recipient of the Judges Scholar Award because she made a choice to accept changes that would benefit her education and well-being. And whereas change is not easy, however, Cameron's ability to embrace change has led to growth that will only further her successes in life. And whereas success is measured in many different ways, whether it be passing a test, scoring the winning point, achieving a particular goal, or taking the necessary steps for overall improvement, and whereas the Henderson County school system could not let Cameron's efforts go unnoticed, and whereas the Henderson County Fiscal Court supports the school system and acknowledges these changes as being significant because students, such as Cameron Davis, will be our future leaders. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim May 14, 2019 as Cameron Davis Day.
Judge, can I take 1 minute to say something about Miss Williams? I'm still amazed that she knows how to use every cell phone camera that's on the market today. She's a fantastic lady anyway, but her talents are many. Cindy, thank you again.
There is no doubt. I also want to say, Cameron, again, congratulations. I know your family pretty well, your dad and your grandpa. And this is one of the largest groups that's shown up to support one of our Judges Scholars. So obviously there's a lot of people who think a lot of you and love you very much. So be happy about that. It's awesome. Thanks for coming, too.
I could say something too. On behalf of the Henderson County School System, we'd like to thank Fiscal Court for recognizing our students. Each month they've been here, all of our students have been present, and we appreciate the support of Fiscal Court.
We are happy to do it. It's one of the coolest things we do, I think. So thank you again.
Thank you, Cindy.
Speaking of proclamations, we have a couple. Yesterday here at Fiscal Court, we held the annual Law Enforcement Memorial Day, and some of you were able to attend, and that is a chance to remember and honor those law enforcement professionals who have died in the line of duty here in Henderson County. And there is a monument on the front lawn over here with their names on it, and the fact that we take a moment each year to remember them, I think, is important. This is also a chance to celebrate Law Enforcement Appreciation Day, and I'd like the Fiscal Court Clerk to read a proclamation to that effect.
Whereas, in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day, a day where service and sacrifice of all officers killed in the line of duty are honored, and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week. And whereas the members of law enforcement agencies, Henderson County Sheriff's Office, Henderson City Police Department, and Kentucky State Police all play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community. And whereas it is important that all citizens know and understand the problems, duties, and responsibilities of their law enforcement agencies, and that members recognize their duty to serve the people by safeguarding life and property, protecting them against violence or disorder, and protecting the innocent against deception and the weak against oppression or intimidation. And whereas since 1791, more than 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and have died in the line of duty. And the names of these dedicated public servants are engraved in the walls of the National Law Enforcement Officers Memorial, Washington, D.C. And whereas Henderson County wishes to honor the memories of these fallen servants and acknowledges all the peace officers that are serving and or have served in this county. And now, therefore, I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive Henderson, join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim May 14th, 2019 as Henderson County Law Enforcement Appreciation Day.
And if Sheriff Brady would come up and collect that proclamation, I know.
I'd like to have a picture made.
Sure.
With our deputies.
And Miss Brady as well.
Could we have Cameron? Would you come down and be in our picture?
Thank you.
I'd like to thank the court for this proclamation. We have a list of officers on our monument down front that have died in Henderson County in the line of duty, and every day and night we have these men and women out here that risk everything for our safety, and it's a great occupation to be in, and I think they're great people to be willing to serve. But thank you for the proclamation.
Thank you, and I think it's important to remember that our detention center staff is law enforcement as well, uniformed law enforcement, and they are part of that family of professionals who we honor with this proclamation. And I think it's true that last week, Jailer Brady, there was a special national day devoted to those who work in our detention centers, jails, and prisons, and we want to absolutely spend the time to recognize their work. It's not an easy job in any form or fashion, and then they handle it, in a professional manner, and we appreciate all their service as well as all folks in uniform. We have another proclamation. It's Infrastructure Week, and as you know, having attended perhaps past fiscal court meetings or followed our past recommendations to state legislator and other concerned citizens about the importance of infrastructure throughout the state for our economies, for the safety of our people, and for our future growth. And again, we have a chance to kind of formally express our support by having a proclamation for Infrastructure Week. So be patient, but we'd like to read this one as well.
Whereas the week of May 13th through the 20th, 2019 is observed across the nation and in Henderson County as Infrastructure Week. And whereas the county governments in Kentucky rely on critical infrastructure, including our roads, bridges, our railroads and transit systems, our river ports and airports, to the regional and national economy. And whereas this infrastructure enhances our local and regional economy, our quality of life, our safety, and the strengths of our communities. And whereas insufficient funding and deferred maintenance have resulted in an infrastructure across the country requiring serious repair in communities nationwide. And whereas the Commonwealth and Henderson County risk a diminished competitive advantage by failing to adequately invest in its infrastructure. Whereas every dollar invested in infrastructure generates nearly $2 in economic output. And whereas to grow our economy, keep Americans safe, strengthen our communities, we all need levels of government and the private sector to work together to rebuild and repair our infrastructure. Whereas Infrastructure Week has been established to highlight infrastructure investment needs and to recognize and encourage leadership at the federal, state, and local levels to address our nation's pressing infrastructure challenges. And whereas Infrastructure Week challenges policymakers and the public to address the challenges facing infrastructure to move beyond short-term fixes and deferred maintenance and to envision innovative solutions, technologies, policies, and investments that will improve Kentucky's infrastructure future. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Brad Schneider, County Judge Executive of Henderson, wish to join with the Henderson County Fiscal Court to proclaim the week of May 13th as Infrastructure Week.
I think all these proclamations are going to do in our fiscal court clerk, but good job. Way to hang in there. Infrastructure is important to all of us, and facing the challenges of paying for infrastructure are always the key component, and I know both at the local level or state level and federal level, those are forefront in a lot of people's minds, so thank you. Moving on, we have 2 appointments to the library board that Henderson County Fiscal Court makes. We've asked for recommendations from the board, and they have given us 2 names, Arlene Alexander, who many of you know, I'm sure, and Susan Thurman, who would be a reappointment to their board. Check with the head librarian about the board's wishes, and they offered both of those names, and I would like to entertain a motion to approve Arlene Alexander and Susan Thurman being appointed to the library board effective July 1.
So move.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? In your packets, we have a copy of the agreement between the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet and Henderson County for the funds released from KYTC for the Cairo Lyles Bridge Replacement Project. You know, we've been working on securing that funding for some time now, and we've been able to get $150,000 from the state for this much-needed project. If I can ask Jeff Risley from the Road Department just to come up and give a brief kind of update of what's going to happen next with Cairo Lyles.
Morning.
Morning.
Cairo Lyles Bridge right now, the deck has been removed from it. We have opened the channel up. The footer has been poured and one pier is put in place as of right now. So next, they'll be moving to this Roberts side of the creek now to start on it.
And that bridge is both heavily traveled by our agriculture community.
Agriculture, yes.
It's also a bus ride, is that right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's an important bridge. We're also at the same time doing Cairo Hickory Groves.
Which Cairo
Bridge.
Hickory Grove is complete except for asphalt on the approaches. And then we have Sulphur Springs, where we're reusing the bridge deck from Cairo Lyles to go over there.
Yeah, so
So,
Judge, I've reviewed the agreement, and it is approved as to form and legality.
excellent. I do need fiscal court's approval to enter into this memorandum of understanding contract with KYTC to release those funds and move forward on that project.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Mr. Risley or about this award? And I must say the road department, along with the judge's office, really worked hard to move along the discretionary fund process and get this done. And we finally are here today, so it's good news. So thanks for your work, and thank you. So, did I take a vote? I'm just thinking. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, we'll get that done. Mr. Gold, your report.
Judge, I've got several checks today. The first being for salaries, FICA, and retirement, $538.47, a pass-through for a supplement to an assistant county attorney's salary, $458.33, dental and life insurance, $479.54, health insurance in the amount of $8,699, AFLAC, $124.94, jail fees collected, $739.25, interest in the amount of $20.96 and $62.88, bringing the total remitted to the county today to $11,123.37. And Ms. Cameron is going to hand that over to you. She's going to have $11,000 for just a minute. All right.
I think she gave it all to me. Motion to accept the county attorney's report.
So move.
Motion and a second. Any other questions of Mr. Gold? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. This is the time of the year where we begin to propose fund transfers in larger numbers as we get to the end of the fiscal year and we find places where we either underestimated or overestimated and need to fix those as we head into the final month of 2018-19. So I'd like to call Treasurer Ryder up to guide us through some transfers that she is proposing. And again, this is to cover shortfalls in some line items and take advantage of savings in others. So there you go.
To the judge's health insurance line, $7,500. Transferring from the judge's part-time line, $6,500, and $1,000 from the judge's staff retirement line. Transferring to the clerk's conference salaries conferences training line, $3,500 from the clerk's office supply and postage line. Transferring to the sheriff's health insurance appropriation line, $27,000. Transferring to the sheriff's vehicle repair line, $12,000. Transferring to the sheriff's CLEF reimbursement line, $7,000. And these are coming from $46,000 total coming from the bailiff's salaries. Transferring to the zoning board member per diem appropriation line, $1,500 coming from the occupational tax retirement line. In the jail fund, transferring to the SAP employees salary line, $32,000. Transferring to the overtime line, $12,000. A total of $44,000 coming from the administrative assistant inmate clerk line. Transferring $10,000 to the overtime line from the part-time help line. Transferring $10,000 to utilities from the motor vehicles line. Transferring $10,000 to the jailer's salary appropriation line coming from the Class D coordinator's line. A fund-to-fund transfer, transferring $6,000 from the general fund contingency appropriation line to the economic development line. a cash transfer from the jail fund, to the jail fund from the general fund in the amount of $36,846. What this is for, there was a direct deposit made by the Kentucky State Treasurer that was deposited into the incorrect account.
Add a little bit of detail to a couple of these line items that may be less than obvious. The economic development transfer, earlier in the year, Treasurer had put a certain amount of money in that was to pay for an easement for utilities that were going to Sandy Lee Watkins Park. She wasn't sure exactly where to put that. She chose economic development, so that increased the expected expense in that line item. I advise her next time just go ahead and put it in one of the parks line items for expenses, anything having to do with Sandy Lee. So that's why we had to bump this up a bit this time around.
Yes.
But next year we'll know better where to park that, something like that. Several of these health insurance line items, we make a budget at the beginning of the year. If employees change their plan, go from single, for example, to family, it can increase. So we have to account for those increases. Sometimes a new employee comes on, makes a selection. We didn't necessarily have that at the beginning of the budget year, so we have to reflect that. And I think the Sheriff's Department in particular had that happen among several families. So we're covering for that. The jailer salary, if I'm not mistaken, many of our elected officials get their salaries are mandated by the state. The state works on a calendar year basis with these decisions, while we work on a July 1, January 30 fiscal year basis. So at the beginning of the year, we estimate what the state is going to do. We estimate in July or June what the state's going to do with those salaries in January. And we just have to wait to see what happens. And sometimes we guess correctly and sometimes we don't. And we have to make up for that difference. And in this case, if I'm not mistaken, Jailer Brady, that's what we're doing here, is making up for the difference in her salary as mandated by the state that came down in January. So does that make sense? Sometimes we guess correctly on those, and other times it's hard to tell what the state's going to do. Any other questions about any of these line items? Again, many of them are typical end-of-year adjustments we have to make.
Make a motion to approve the transfers.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I'll just make another point. All of these funds are being moved within our current budget. There is no budget increase to handle these. We're just pulling money from some lines that have plenty of money left in them, or we overestimated perhaps, to some that we underestimated a little bit, or circumstances dictated we do that. So, any other questions?
The cash transfer that went into the jail account, you said they deposited in the wrong account?
Yes.
That's happened several times. What can we do to stop that?
We're trying.
We've repaired it, and from time to time the state reviews their overall vendor list. And some counties have one checking account, one account where Henderson County has 10 or 12, and a lot of counties have multiple. And they review their vendor list from time to time, and they just see one Henderson County or whatever, and that's where it goes.
Okay.
But it's better.
All right.
And it doesn't cost us money. It just costs us some time and consternation.
Well, and Brenda, a headache.
Yeah, yeah. That's right. We try to avoid that too.
Yes.
But we've done better at that lately. This is the first one in a while, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a whole series at the beginning of the fiscal year because they collapsed their vendor list down to almost nothing, and no county was happy about that.
Yeah. So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. You have any claims?
Yes. From the general fund to Thompson Law P. LLC, $900. This is to prepare and file mechanics liens for 6 properties. This is to come from the zoning board member per diem line. To Old National Wealth Management in the amount of $35,850. This is to come from the 911 debt service appropriation line, and this is for the interest on the 911 bond issue. From the jail fund to U.S. Bank, $6,157.42. This is for miscellaneous credit card charges, the majority of these being office supplies, training expense, and equipment repairs.
Further details about the mechanics liens for the zoning board, those used to be handled by Brian Owsley, who is not able to do that anymore for us, so we reached out to Thompson LLC.
And there hasn't been any activity for a while, so he's aggressively trying to catch up on these.
I make a motion, we pay the claims.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions of Treasurer Ryder? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you. Before we go into the rest of the Gooding County, we have a guest with us today, Amelia Wilson, who's the area representative for Congressman James Comer. Amelia, if you don't mind giving us an update and also introduce your guest, please.
I sure will. Well, thank you all for the opportunity to be here. Just going to go over a couple of things. On June the 4th, we are having community office hours in Henderson. It's going to be noon. And if you know of someone that has a federal issue, whether it be VA, Social Security, any kind of issue, it's going to be at noon at the Kendall building, in the Kendall offices. So feel free to share that with anybody who has questions. We're happy to help, and if there's anything we can do, we'll try our best. Second of all, Judge Snyder and Congressman Comer, and there have been a slew of volunteers who've been involved in the I-69 as well as the bridge. And I will say that Congressman Comer, it's his number one top priority in the 35 counties. So we're here to support you. If there's anything we can do along the way, let us know. I've also got his second day on the job. This is Colt McGrew, and he is at Murray State, and he's a summer intern. And he's learning everything. He already knows it all in 2 days. So, but we're happy to help you if there's anything. My office is in Madisonville, but I travel a lot. So if there's any way that we can be of help, just let us know. Thank you all.
What was that date? Again, one more time.
It's June the 4th at noon at the Kendall building.
Thank you.
So thank you all.
I'm going to be seeing Congressman Comer Thursday, I believe. We're going with Kentuckians for Better Transportation up for our annual D.C. fly-in to visit with Secretary Elaine Chao and Senator McConnell and some other leaders, as well as our Kentucky contingent. So we look forward to seeing Congressman Comer. He's a frequent visitor to Henderson County, and we really appreciate that, and always willing to take meetings with people from Henderson County who travel up to D.C. So he's always welcoming, and that's great. If there are any other members of the audience who'd like to come up to the microphone and speak for good of the county, please feel free. Okay, Master at Southern.
First off, I'd like to say congratulations, Cameron. It's an honor, and it surely says something when your whole family shows up to support you. It means a lot. Be thankful for that. And all's good in third.
Master Moran.
I would also like to congratulate Cameron. It's wonderful that all the things that you've accomplished, and I'm glad that you're being honored for those, and for her parents to know how proud they are. And it's all good in the second district as well.
Master Putman.
Thank you, Judge. Well, Cameron, I'd like to say we saved the best for last, but I actually can't, because everyone that's come through the court this year as a scholar are magnificent, brilliant, great. There's just not enough words to really the adjectives to throw in there to talk about them. You know, it's quite impressive and it all starts at home. Yeah, I truly believe that. But I know you're going to continue down this path. And is there any siblings? Younger or older? See, you've raised the bar. So the pressure's on. So we're proud of you. We're glad you was here with us today. And I hope you have a great day, and hope you have a great lunch. Remember, 2 desserts. And Judge, all is good in the 4th.
Master McCollum.
Yes, Cameron, thank you and congratulations. I'd also like to apologize to the court and to Ed Brady for my sticking my foot in my mouth last time we had a meeting, and would like to thank Brad for orchestrating a meeting between Ed and I appreciate that, getting these things off our chest, and I think everything's good, and I appreciate it, and thank everybody, and I apologize for the way I operate sometimes. I just open it up, so bear with me.
Thank you, Magistrate McCollum. I appreciate that very much. Master Barry.
I always go last, and it's repetitive, but congratulations, Cameron, and congratulations to the family. That was a big turnout for the family, and the biggest, and that's impressive. You're doing well. Keep it up, and we're glad to have you here today. Everything's good.
Mr. Gold.
Judge, things are good, but busy as normal at the county attorney's office. Always new stuff coming in to do, but things seem to be hitting on all cylinders, and we thank the court for the support in order to help keep that running. Cameron, they all said all the great things about you, and sitting here with you, talking to you about what's going on, I can tell that you're an involved and interested young lady. We have some judges, scholars that come in and they're really bored because this is boring stuff sometimes. But you were into it, and you had some good observations and whatnot. So I can tell why you got picked. And this is your day. You get to go back to the school. Are you going back to school today? Okay. Well, you get to tell them today is your day. It's been officially proclaimed that today is your day, and that's a pretty cool thing. So enjoy it, and congratulations to the family. Like I said, I know it took all of them to get you to where you are right now. And I know with their help, you're going to reach even greater heights. So keep going.
Thank you, and I will add my congratulations as well. We're going to go have lunch. Have you decided where we're going yet? Which are your two?
Like either Tumbleweed or Sidewalk Cafe.
Well, we'll have to meet after and break the tie. Maybe Mom can decide, or what do you think? I don't know. We'll see. Congratulations. I've known your dad since he was a freshman. No, an 8th grader. That's how old we are now. Unbelievable. I remember you carrying around a golf bag that was bigger than you, and so you got a great family. And congratulations. I'm sure you're very proud, and great things to come, Cameron. Great things to come, including lunch. So I'll remind everybody that we have a budget workshop this afternoon at 4 to take care of various things involving the proposed budget and a couple items that are still involved in this budget. We should be able to get through that and make some final tweaks to the proposed budget and still pass our 2019-20 budget on time, but everybody is invited. It's an open meeting. We will not be taking any comments or questions from the audience, but they can certainly watch the deliberations. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor can leave.